Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to this edition of Drive Time on this lovely May 18th, 2026. The lovely StreamYard is presenting with me some technical difficulties in logging in, but we figured out a workaround, so we are both still here, just PowerPointless today. So sorry for all of you that joined just for strictly for the PowerPoint. You likely will not get a PowerPoint today. You are just stuck with the lovely Showtime Sarah and my bald head. So Showtime, how you doing today?
I'm good. I was just talking to obviously him separately. I had a vacation with the other Catlin siblings this past weekend. It was a lot of fun. A little drained, but we'll get through. It was fucking fun.
That's all right,
Very,
because
very nice memories.
Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge area, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you did Dollywood one
Yes, we
day.
did Dollywood, and then me and Bella also we did the aquarium. I got Jen a little penguin figurine, by the way.
Ah, very nice. She'll like that. And so Dollywood compared to Cedar Point, real quick. Which one wins?
Okay, ride wise, Cedar Point. There is like my favorite. You have you been? I can't remember.
No, I've not.
Okay, well, my favorite was this one called Wild Eagle, um, but not as extreme as Cedar Point rides, and I think Wild Eagle was like the one I kind of screamed the most on, but like it wasn't terrible. Dallas kept talking about don't embarrass me. I think he was talking about the screaming, and me and Emily kept saying just wait until my dad was here. If my dad was here, it'd be worse.
Yeah, but I do mine on purpose. That's just for fun. So
Yeah, exactly.
all right, let's get into it. So did you know you can watch this course live on YouTube, Facebook, X, and of course now 24/7 on YouTube. You can listen to us next day on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Pocket Cast, Podbean, and Castbox. So we are, of course, everywhere as the Sideline Junkies, and you can like, follow, and subscribe to us. So please do one of those on either one of the numerous ways that you can check us out. So with that, of course, unfortunately, it seems like lately this is how we have to start every show, is with a few different with the rest in peace. So we start off this one here with and I know we did what, two of these last week, Sarah, that were before your time, and here's another one that's before your time. But I do want to hit on this one. Sherm Lewis. He won 4 Super Bowls as an assistant coach, was the running back coach in San Francisco, where he won 3, and then went on to be the offense coordinator in Green Bay for 8 years, where he won another. Sherm never got the chance to be a head coach in this league, and he was a coordinator before what's called the Rooney Rule. For those that don't know, they made this for. I think honestly, Sherm Lewis is probably the example of why they made the Rooney Rule, where teams had to interview a minority of some type for a head coach position. Sherm never got that chance. It's still one of the greatest mysteries to me, because he was a great offensive coordinator for many, many years. After Green Bay, he went on to a couple different stints with Minnesota and ended with a stint in Washington as well. But just a really, really, really great offensive mind. And for whatever reason, never got a shot as a head coach in the NFL. And that to me is a big shame, because he definitely could have been a head coach. There's so many guys during that time frame that got second, third opportunities, and Sherm, for whatever reason, never got one. So I know the guys touched on this yesterday a lot during their show, but I wanted to get my 2 cents in on that, because him not getting an opportunity to be a head coach in the NFL was definitely a great travesty, because he definitely could have done it for sure. So, Sarah, any thoughts on Sherm, or before your
That's
time,
an
as we said?
interesting name.
Hmm?
Is that a common name, Sherm?
Well, Sherman is his name, but he always went by Sherm. So that
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Sherman
Okay.
Lewis is his full name. So yeah. Now this one you'll know, unfortunately, and I appreciate the guys had me on Tuesday when this happened. Bob Tayek, who is not a name that you'll probably know unless you've ever been to Progressive Field. He basically was the voice of Progressive Field for the Cleveland Indians and Guardians. Just always. He's one of those. It's weird. Like, you go into an arena or stadium and you're used to hearing that voice. And like this year for opening day, we walk in and they start doing announcements. We're like, hey, that's not the guy. And you only know him sometimes even as the guy or the gal, because they never say who their name is when they're doing it. But you get to learn more. And the Guardians have put out that he was sick and that they were hopeful that he was going to come back this year. Even the day before he passed, he was watching the Cavs and the Guards, both from the hotel, from his hospital bed. Then unfortunately passed away. So I do want to give a chance, because He is the voice, and like I said, he had the perfect R rule with Jose Ramirez's name. That's probably my favorite one of all the names that he did. And he did a great job with every name, but the Jose Ramirez, which I'm not going to attempt to do it because I can't do it. But he had the R rule perfectly, and they've had people coming now, and they're doing their best, but it's just like with John Adams. I think now part of Progressive Field has definitely lost its mystique with John Adams passing and losing the drummer, and now losing the voice of Progressive Field. So I know you got to hear him a few times, Sarah. Did you appreciate the R role in Jose Ramirez, or any memories of any names that he called that you always liked?
I mean, I just more so remember the Ramirez part because I think that was like generally one of his actual things. Like, I mean, like you said, nobody really kind of does it like he does or did, in that sense. So, I mean, I remember hearing his voice. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, shoot. But obviously, still a little bit before my time, but I at least have a couple memories of him.
Yeah, he was, he just, and he always did the third. And you remember, I think he went to a couple of Sunday games with us, so he is the guy too that he would walk the kids through. The kids always do the third inning where they were announce the names. And I brought this up on the show on Tuesday. One of my favorite memories of him is because he'll always start with the kid like, who's your favorite player? And usually they say an Indian or Guardian. Well, this time they're playing, I think it was when he's still with Minnesota. They're playing Minnesota, and the kid says Max Kepler, which he plays for Minnesota. And that got a bit, chuckle out of everyone. So, and he handled it very well and got him to then eventually say a name for a Guardian. So, but always good with the kids on the kids' days too, and walk them through everything, made them feel comfortable. So, always happy with that. So, all right. So unfortunately, there's that part. So now let's get into a little bit of, I guess, fun with the good old "Oh Say Can You Sing" updates. So I can't show the graphic because we can't. The PowerPoint's not working. I can't bring up just a screen. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 new entries. And Sarah, I'm very excited. I watched the Cavs Pistons game 7 on Amazon, and they actually show the anthem. So we have a basketball anthem for the first time this year. So it's the first one that I've seen them actually show the anthem for. So I was very excited about that. So we'll start with that one. Detroit, last night, game 7, it was Maisha Moore. She did a pretty solid, like her voice was good. A little slow for my liking, a few runs. So I gave her, though, a solid 43. So she comes out with a solid 43. So right up there in that top 10 range as far as, because there's a big tie now, 43. So that was there. So she did a really good job. Before that, John DeCosmaker, the regular guy in Minnesota, he was good, just like always. The only thing he's starting now that, I love when Sonya does and the Brave, and she points to the veteran there. So now John's doing that in Minnesota. So to me, that's a little bit of a copycat. So he lost a point in style for that, for being a copycat. So that's a point deduction when you copy another Anthem's bit. So he still got a 44. Amanda Hawkins in Colorado was a little slower than what usually is, but she's still good. She got a 44. And Cammie Clune in Buffalo for game 5. She got 2 42s for the Canadian and U.S. And then Alex Gamond did Montreal. Yes, I don't know why they should just stick with Alexandre. Like, he's the best one there. He was okay. He had some volume issues, but again, he was okay, not bad. He got a 40 on both the U.S. and Canada. He sounded better in the Canadian, but you know my rule. They either just need to sing it all in French or sing it all in the U.S. Until then, you get points deducted when you do this both, on and off things. So there you go. There's my anthems for this week. Any anthem thoughts, Sarah?
Surprisingly, I don't think I watched any anthems. I mean, it's kind of difficult when, like, I want to obviously try watching. We'll talk about it later, but the PWHL game tonight and game 7 tonight. So I'm gonna try watching both of those. I don't know how that's gonna go. And then
I think we got at least a staggered start, because the
yeah,
PWHL starts
the
at 7.
PWHL is at 6, and then game
Yep,
7's at
7:30.
7:30.
Yep. So we got at
So
least a little bit of a staggered start to help us out there with
I'll
that.
get
So
my anthems in tonight, I'm sure.
yes, let's hope for that. So, all right. So there we go. So now we're all up to date on anthems. So let's get through some of the stuff that happened this weekend here. So we'll bring up this one here. So I'm sorry I don't have my nice little PowerPoint that I had all ready to go for the weekend, but we will bring it up. So we'll start with the NBA playoffs. Last night, it's the Cavs Detroit series was so weird because Friday night here in Cleveland, the Cavs had a chance to clinch it. downtown Cleveland was pumped because they're also celebrating for the Guardians, the 2016 team. So they had 26,000 at the Jake, and then they had a full, Rocket Mortgage was sold out. Both teams did not do well that Friday night. That was probably the worst Cavs performance I've seen. So I was not very optimistic at all about that game last night. I thought Detroit was just going to kill them. Instead, the Cavs just absolutely rolled over Detroit. They got up big, 15, 20 points early and never really looked back, which really surprised me. So they get to face the Knicks, and I'll be honest, I'm rooting for the Cavs because I'm here in Cleveland. But the Knickerbockers have just rolled over everybody these last 7 games, and I honestly don't see Cleveland having a chance over the Knicks the way the Knicks are playing right now. But you never know. The Knicks have had a little bit of a layoff, so maybe that layoff hurts them. But their game 1 will be tomorrow at 8 p.m. on ESPN. So that is the Cavs and the Knicks. Sarah, who do you like in that?
I mean, I like the Cavs, but it's not. I don't know anything about the skills behind it. It's Cleveland. I'm going off of Towns at this point. I don't got that much NBA ball.
It'll be interesting tomorrow on Unapologetic Sports at 6:30. A little plug for the guys over there, Flying Brian, and of course Lee Eisen and the Freezer. He has notoriously had James Harden in the freezer because of his playoff performances. So with him getting Cleveland into the Eastern Conference Final, I'll be curious to see if James Harden is still in the freezer or not come tomorrow night. So you'll have to check out Unapologetic Sports to see that tomorrow at 6:30. So a little plug for the guys there who have had me on for Puck U a couple different times. I've always enjoyed my time being on with them for sure. Then on the West side, we have 1 versus 2. OKC's the defending champs. They take on San Antonio. Game 1 of that is tonight at 8:30 on NBC. At least the NBA is finally getting smart and putting games on NBC or ESPN, where Game 7 last night was on Prime. I have no idea why you have Game 7 on something that most people, you have to pay to get and most people don't have. But that's up to the NBA. So I can't wait to see I want to see the ratings from the NHL game that was on Saturday night by itself versus the ratings for the game on Prime. I'm hoping for good things from that NHL game on Saturday, but we'll see. But that's a story for a different day. So this one should be a good series from what I've heard and listening to the guys on Nothing But Net on Wednesday on the network. That's your place for the NBA. Like how I'm getting in all the show plugs here, Sarah. I think I'm doing that. That's a pretty solid job by me, I think, huh?
2 right now.
I know, right? Oh yeah, we add that onto the ticker. We can add on show plugs onto the ticker. Let's see how we do for that today. But this one should be a good series. I'm a big believer of. I'll take the champs until somebody knocks them out. So OKC's the defending champs. So that's who I got. Do you have a prediction for OKC and the Thunder or the Spurs?
The game's tonight.
Yeah, that game's tonight. Not that you or I will watch it. We know you and I are watching, but
yeah. Where are they? Wait, are they playing in Oklahoma City, or is it?
It's in Oklahoma City for tonight. OKC.
San Antonio.
Oh, going for a little upset tonight, huh?
Okay, it's just in like a nerd way because there's like a level 4 threat today in the Midwest, so I'm just rooting for the opposing team because I don't even know if that game's gonna go. I probably will, but I'm sure it'll be messy outside.
Yeah, well, you can, of course, you can listen to Nothing But Net on Wednesdays, and also I'm sure the Tuesday Night Flight will also be covering these NBA games big time. So make sure you check them out. I'm giving everyone their love because they've been giving the love to the drive time. So I'm just making sure that I return the favor tonight for sure.
Wait, are you doing Nothing But Net twice? Does that count as 4?
Yeah, that counts as 4. Absolutely.
We're
going to set a record tonight on show plugs. I can feel it. So, all right. So there's that. So then we had the NASCAR race. Denny Hamlin won the All-Star race, if I read correctly, Sarah. Is that right?
He did. Twice.
Right,
his twice. His second win.
Second win this year or second time winning this race?
Second time winning this year.
Okay.
Which one did he win?
I'm not expecting you to remember.
I don't remember which one he won, but this is his second win of the season. I believe I can pull up the playoff standing or at least where they are right now, playoff or pre-playoff wise. Ugh.
And anything from the race that I know you were driving back and busy in Gatlinburg, so you may not have seen that much of it, but anything that you saw, the highlights or the or any stories that you read on the race that would have struck out to you?
I did not unfortunately read anything. I mean, it's definitely just even overall, anytime Denny Hamlin is winning, it's still like I don't really know. It's just very, I don't really know a word to describe it, but obviously, I think we talked about it on the show, months ago with how Denny Hamlin, his parents had that fire, his father passed away from it, his mom recovered eventually, but she was still critically injured from it and everything. So just knowing that Denny Hamlin is still having a good, like obviously he's having a good season. He's coming back. He's, he's fighting. It's definitely a great story to read in just that sense. In Denny Hamlin, I'm not really sure of anything that happened within the race itself, but I mean it's always nice. As much as I prefer Danny Hamlin not winning, I'm okay with it this season, just with everything he's been through. It's always a good feeling to see him winning right now. It'll probably go away next season, but I'm happy at least right now.
All right. Yep. We'll both be happy then. Then in the PGA Championship, and I think the correspondent's going to be on the Tuesday night flight to talk about that because he's our golf guy. I know Scooter watched some of it too this weekend, but Scooter's off doing good things with his Mission Barbecue tonight, so he can't be on the show tonight because we'll have to get an update from him. For anyone that follows him on Facebook, he got to drive one of the big military rigs in the parade this weekend. I can't wait to ask him about that next week. So we'll definitely bring that up with him next week for sure. But anyway, Aaron Ra, I hope I'm pronouncing his last name right, won the PGA Championship in comeback fashion. Had a good strong back nine. He's the first English golfer to win the PGA tournament and the PGA Championship in 107 years. So congrats to Aaron on that. I'll be honest, I did not watch any of it, so I cannot give any feedback. I know you didn't watch any of it. I know you can't give any feedback. So we'll let the correspondent do that on the Tuesday night flight tomorrow night.
Sounds good.
Right? All right. So there's our weekend update. So let's do this here real quick. Let's take a quick little break, and then after this break, we're gonna. Oh wait, no, there was one other thing. Duh, I forgot. Two things actually. Then we'll take a break. Aaron Rodgers re-signs with the Pittsburgh Steelers for 1 year, so they have their quarterback. We'll see how long that lasts. He is reunited at least again with their coach. So with McCarty. So we'll see. I don't know. I know Jared was not really excited about this, but I don't know if anyone is. Maybe it works. Maybe it doesn't. Do you have any thoughts on Aaron Rodgers?
Just the fact that it took him so long to re-sign, one, I mean, just makes me think that Pittsburgh really couldn't find anything better. I do think this would be Aaron Rodgers last year. You would think. I don't know. That doesn't look great though for Pittsburgh.
I agree. And then the NFL schedule release came out too. I know a lot of people love the NFL schedule. Maybe part is just because with the Raiders, the only thing I look for the Raiders in their schedule, and this is most of the time too, because what you think is going to be a good matchup on May 18th may end up being a crap matchup by the time you get to it. Like where these teams are going to be, who the hell knows when time the season gets started. The only thing I looked at was the Raiders are supposed to come to Cleveland. Of course, they are coming the Sunday of Thanksgiving week. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes, if I go to that game or not, because one, it's cold. So you never know what that's going to be like weather-wise. And then depending on how good the Browns are, will depend on what that ticket costs. So we'll see. I know you have not decided if you're coming in or not either. That would probably maybe make a decision too if I decide to go or not. So,
I mean, hey, I've never been to an NFL game, so.
Yep. Any thoughts on your end of the schedule release? Anything at all that stuck out to you? I was going to pull some of them up, but now that I'm on my phone on here, I had them on my phone and I can't look at that, and or else I lose the screen. So we just talk about it this way.
Yeah. I wasn't crazy into the schedule release. I maybe just it's usually I just more so search for it on my TikTok and see kind of what shows up from there. I know that the Raiders, they did like a stepbrother comedy with Fernando and Kirk. That was funny.
Yes.
That was a pretty great approach. I did I think Chicago's, they did they had one of their players do like a Bob Ross kind of thing. That was funny. Oh, it's 6 now. Shoot.
Yeah, because I forgot to do it.
But so I at least will give my kudos to Chicago and the Raiders. I did see Carolina's. They were just blowing stuff up, which sounds great. But that's literally all it was. I mean, it was somewhat entertaining, but I think a lot of people are giving it more credit. Just blowing stuff up.
There you go.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
wasn't crazy into it this year, or
Hey,
I guess it just didn't.
nice
Huh?
USA shirt there. I wonder who got
Yeah,
you that.
some
Well,
guy. I don't.
that's a good person. Whoever got you that shirt's a good person. So, all right, here we go. Now we go into our commercial break, and then we'll come back, and it's time to talk some hockey. Lots and lots of hockey. So we'll be right back. All right, everybody, we are back here. It's time for the Drive to the Net segment. This is going to be pretty much the rest of the show because we got lots of hockey to talk about. So let's get first into some NHL news before we break down the actual series. And we're going to start with the big fine. This was with Vegas. John Tortorella, after Vegas defeated the Anaheim Ducks to win that series 4-2, he decided not to show up for the press conference, and basically had most of the players not show up for the press conference either, basically only like allowing one or two. And so with that being said, he'd been warned once before because he did this once before. They fined him $100,000, and they took away Vegas's second round pick in this upcoming draft. A very, very steep fine. And look, and for those that are wondering, well, why is this fine so steep? Because the NHL is sending a clear message to the other teams: don't think about doing this, right? They want their coaches to be available after these games, and the NHL is having a huge ratings boost. Tortorella is a figure. He is known for giving good comments in these things. So him not making himself available is not good for the game. And basically, they want these coaches to be available, and so that is why the fine was so heavy. It is strictly the NHL saying no one else get this idea to do this again. And I think that's going to work because no team is going to want to lose a second round pick because their coach didn't show up for availability. So I think it's going to work. Did you have any thoughts on the fine and the draft pick getting taken away, Bugs?
I mean, I guess I'm a little shocked at the extent, but I will say, like, anybody who knows hockey knows that this is a Tortorella thing to do. This is nothing shy of his character, and that's why, like, he's just such a questionable coach. I mean, we questioned it when he even got hired by Vegas in the first place. So this is just a torts thing. I'm not exactly shocked about him doing that. I am shocked about the extent of what the NHL did to punish him, but like you said, this will work. I don't think any other coaches. I would hope. I'm trying to think of like any coaches that would possibly ever do that. I know Rob Brindamore. He's a feisty guy, but he's not like that. He'll just
Not
speak his mind.
not since that fine. Yeah, I don't think he'll not show up. But he's even tamed down those things after he took his $10,000 fine a couple years back. So
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
calmed down a little bit.
So I think it'll definitely keep a note for other coaches. Not that I could really accuse any other ones of trying to do anything. But this is a torts thing to do. So
Agree. Yep, we are in agreement on that one. And then this one came as really no surprise at all. Toronto fires Craig Berube. He was there for 2 years. He did not make he made the playoffs the first year, even won a series. Then they lost to Florida. And then this year they did not make the playoffs. I think a lot of people thought they still should have. So overall, 84, 62, and 18. This is Craig's now third stop in the NHL. I think he'll get another one. He seems to be one of these coaches. And look, I mean, Toronto fired their GM. They hired somebody new. You kind of this one, I think everyone kind of saw coming. It seems like he could be landing in Edmonton, which is going to be the move that we talk about next. Because he has already interviewed there. Toronto's giving teams permission to speak with him, which is interesting because Vegas has not given teams permission to speak with Butch Cassidy, even though they fired him and they hired Torts. They are not giving teams permission to speak. I think that will probably change once the season is through. For whatever reason, they just don't want anyone talking to him probably during the year and maybe having something get out that they don't think should get out. So anyway. So I'm assuming, are you in agreement with me, Sarah, that this one really wasn't that surprising to anyone?
no, it's not. I mean, Toronto's just generally trying for I think the rebuild completely. Probably starting to realize that their management was the issue in the first place, and then now obviously they're going down to their coaching. Um, I don't know if it'll be enough. And I mean, we'll talk about this later when the draft gets closer, just picking on who they draft. I mean, me and you both said we don't think it's going to be McKenna. It could be somebody else. So I think it really just depends on how they handle the draft to kind of see if they're truly trying to rebuild or not.
Yeah, and I think too they're going to make a decision on what they're going to do with Austin Matthews, because if you're going to trade Austin Matthews, it's probably going to be before the draft, so you can get a first round pick in this year's draft with that, because he's definitely coming for one and other stuff. So we'll know more. We'll have to keep an eye on Toronto and see how that plays out for sure. Then the other one, a little bit of a surprise, but not really. If you listen to a lot of what Connor McDavid was saying after games towards the last 20, 30 games of the year, I don't really think this is a big surprise. Chris Knoblauch is fired in Edmonton. 3 seasons, 2 years, he takes them to the Cup final. This last year, they go out in the first round. But when you heard the exit interview from Connor McDavid, he wasn't really very happy with a lot of things that was going on in Edmonton, just the work ethic, I think, and different things too. So I know this caught some surprise because he has had success in Edmonton, but Edmonton is expecting championships out of their coach, even though they don't have good defense and they don't have a goalie. Somehow the coach is supposed to magically fix this. They have no coach has been able to fix it so far. And the coaching carousel continues in northern Alberta and Edmonton. What were your thoughts on this one, Sarah?
I mean, I guess at this point you just get desperate for whatever. I mean, if they think it's going to.
Yeah.
Okay.
You there, sir? Yep. You're back. You froze, but you're back.
No, I was going to say that I guess you just get desperate at a point. Like you said, Edmonton is just trying to settle for actually getting the cup at this point. They're a good team, and I mean, gosh, a lot of people predicted them to win the cup this year, and then going out in the first round to Anaheim, by the way. Like, it's just like it's very questionable of like, are you generally getting better at this point? It looks like you're getting worse. And obviously Connor McDavid being unhappy. If you get your star players unhappy to a point, they're going to leave. So if they think putting a different coach in there is going to help Connor McDavid feel better, then so be it. But I will say, like, obviously, I think he's got 2 more seasons.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's definitely going to be a test to see how they handle the coaching changes within that. But like you said, their defense, their goaltending is still rough. So they've got to make some moves this offseason, whether it's drafting or trading around. You gotta make those moves, and hopefully they can manage to do that in a little bit.
I agree with that completely. I can't make. Do we have any comments out there, Bugs? Because my stuff is going so slow, so I don't want. If we do have any, I want to make sure we're reading them, but I can't see any.
No comments.
Nope. Okay, just making sure. All right, so let's get into some PWHL news, the Professional Women's Hockey League. If you remember the last show, they just announced that they were expanding to Detroit, and now they have gone from, which would be team number 9. They have now announced teams number 10 and 11, with Vegas getting team 10. Hamilton, Ontario gets team number 11. Not really surprised for either one of these two. Vegas may be a little bit, because I thought Colorado might be leading the pack for a West team if they're going to, because I think the next team 12 is going to likely be a West team. So my gut's going to be Colorado. I think Pittsburgh could also be another possibility. Not that that's West, but I'm just going with the 2 cities that have had good popularity when the women's game goes there on tour, that have had sold out arenas, and that's both Colorado and Pittsburgh. So did either one of these 2 teams surprise you? And who is your thoughts for Team 12 that will be announced later?
Vegas didn't surprise me as much. They have a huge market. I mean, they have money. So it didn't surprise me that they were going to try jumping in as soon as possible. I will say, I don't really know how I feel about the expansion to Hamilton. It's not that far from Toronto. I feel like if you're trying to truly expand women's, like, you want to go to places that are a little further away, maybe from like another destination that you have. I mean, I'm sure it'll create that rivalry that kind of Montreal and Ottawa are having right now. Obviously, the Canadian thing. I'm sure it'll help in Toronto's sense, and bring a fan base there. But I feel like you could have focused on trying to find a fan base, or like obviously try doing a team somewhere else that, just truly expanding it. I mean, the NHL doesn't even have a Hamilton team. And I think it's mostly just for the reason of how close Toronto is. So, I mean, I don't really know how to feel. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I feel like you could have definitely had a better city maybe eventually, or at least obviously go somewhere else like Pittsburgh or Denver, if you were, or Pittsburgh, obviously, if you were trying to look for like an Eastern team. Um, I think those two, Denver and Pittsburgh, they are a possible 12 option. Of course, Belle is biased, but she really thinks that there could be a Washington team as well.
Yeah,
Um,
and then Jeff has said that too. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. I just don't know that's going to be in this round of expansion.
yeah. So, I mean, I definitely think it could be either way. I would definitely think it's going to probably be more Eastern. Maybe Denver will probably be the next expansion as well if it is Eastern. So we'll see though. I'm excited. It'll be
I think
interesting though if they do keep it at 11. I hate odd numbers.
I think they'll go to 12. I think they'll announce a 12 team before the end of this thing, before they start next season. It just makes too much sense. And I think where Hamilton makes sense is it's 67 miles from Toronto, Ottawa, which is where the Ottawa Senators play. That where they play, it's a little bit further away, not by much, but I think what they're going for is that rivalry with Toronto.
Yeah.
You know,
That's the
so
only reason why I can see like, okay, maybe
yeah.
it works out. But
And Hamilton's been flirting with trying to get the Senators to move there. Now they're getting the Islanders farm team to move back into that arena too. So they've got an NHL style arena there that's ready to go. So I think it'll be okay there. I think it'll do well. I mean, look at how it's done in Montreal and Toronto. It's just taken off in both of those cities. So I think it'll do well there. But time will tell for both of them. Excuse me. All right, so that leads us into their playoffs, which when we last left off was Game 5 between Minnesota and Montreal. Minnesota, the reigning champs, falls to Montreal. It was a really, really great game, as we thought it would be. The final score was 2-1. Anne-Renee Devens was the story as she outdueled Maddie Rooney in that game. So they win Game 5, producing what now we know for sure. Canada will again have a professional champion in the sport of hockey. It's going to be women's hockey because it is now Ottawa taking on Montreal. Montreal has won the first 2 games in the series. This series is also kind of a rematch between Gwyneth Phillips, who was the goaltender for Team USA, and Montreal with Anne-Renee Devens, who was, of course, the goalie for Canada. So far, Anne-Renee has the lead as they've won both games. Both of them have gone to overtime. Game 1, Ottawa is winning 3-2 when Nicole Gosling scores with just 3 seconds left in the third to take it into the overtime. And then Abby Rourke wins it 2:29 into overtime. In Game 2, Maggie Flaherty gets the game winner in overtime from a pass from Marie-Philippe Poulin and, of course, one Abby Rourke. So Montreal is up. Game 3 of that is tonight. You can see that on Ion and also on YouTube. Games 3, 4, and 5 are on Ion if you get it. I know it's a network that some people do get. Not a lot for whatever reason. YouTube only has Game 3 live tonight. After that, you have to have Ion or TSN to be able to see it, which is a shame for those in case if this thing doesn't end tonight. But what do you think? Does Montreal end this thing tonight, or does Ottawa survive at home?
I mean, I haven't seen anything shy of, Montreal obviously acting for it. I mean, I watched wait, which one did I even watch? I watched game 1, sorry. Or at least like the end of it where it was or Ottawa had the lead, Montreal tied it, and then they scored obviously the OT. That game was absolutely beautiful. I just love the idea of a Canadian finale. So like I almost want this thing to go to 5 just because again, it's great. But I do think Montreal could definitely sweep them tonight. I would like Ottawa to at least get 1, but I totally see Montreal being capable of sweeping them.
It could, but I think Ottawa. I think Ottawa wins tonight. They've been really good at home. They've almost been like a different team at home than what they. And that they played bad on the road because they took out Boston with a road win. So and look, they took Montreal. Both games went to overtime. It's not like either one of these 2 games have been blowouts. And Gwyneth Phillips is definitely capable of just standing on her head and stealing the game too. So I think I like Ottawa to win it tonight, and then we'll see what happens. I think Montreal will win the series probably in 4 or 5. But I agree with you. Let's get to 5 because that's what's best for the sport. And especially for the women's game to keep that growing. So there we have that. So let's get into the minor leagues, then we'll take a break, and then we'll get to the NHL stuff. So in the East Coast Hockey League, Two of the series, and these were the division finals, are done in the Mountain Division. The KC Mavericks took out the Allen Americans. KC is the affiliate of Seattle. That was a sweep, 4-0. The Florida Everblades, which always do well in the playoffs, doesn't matter who they're affiliated with right now. They're with Edmonton. They took out, there was St. Louis. I'm sorry. They took out South Carolina, which is Washington's affiliate, in 5 games. So those 2 series are done. Fort Wayne leads Toledo 3-2. Game 6 of that series is Tuesday, with Game 7 the following night. Both of those are in Fort Wayne. And then in the North Division, that is all tied up at 3 games apiece between Wheeling and Maine. Wheeling won the first 2 games. The Maine rolled off the next 3. Wheeling won Game 6, though, in overtime, forcing the Game 7. And that is tonight in the East Coast Hockey League. So the Kelly Cup playoffs are getting closer and closer to being done. Then over in the American Hockey League, the Chicago Wolves, which is the affiliate of the Carolina Hurricanes, is up on Grand Rapids, 2-0. That Game 3 is tomorrow. Game 4 and Game 5 are Thursday and Saturday. The other 3 series are all tied at 1. Springfield and Wilkes-Barre Scranton are tied at 1. Cleveland and Toronto is tied at 1, and Colorado and Coachella Valley are that one, is 2-1. So 2 of them are tied at 1. Colorado is up on Coachella 2-1. That Game 4 is Wednesday, Game 5 Friday. And the Cleveland-Toronto series, Game 3 is not till Wednesday. Then they go Friday and Sunday. And Springfield and WBS, Game 3 of that series is Tuesday, Game 4 Thursday, Game 5 Saturday. Anything on either the East Coast Hockey League or the American Hockey League, Sarah?
East Coast, Toledo won last year, right? Or
they made to the finals. They've made to the finals the last 2 years. They've yet to win it, but they've made to the finals the last couple of years. So they are down.
They'll pull it off.
Well, let's see. They lost the first 3. They've won the last 2. So they're trying to do the reverse sweep, but they got to win both games in Fort Wayne. So I'm not sure they'll pull it off or not. If they do, that Kansas City team was the best team in the league this year, and I don't know that they beat them. So I think maybe they're capable of beating Fort Wayne, but I think that's where they end. I think of our quote unquote minor league teams, the best chance out there is probably Chicago, because they've got some good young Canes, which is scary for the NHL to think of, that the Carolina has a really good loaded farm system, which they do. So I think that's our best shot with the teams that are left. I could also see the Monsters doing well, but they got to get by Toronto. So there we have it. Oh,
I agree.
Let's see here. Coach Savon, how has Hershey been the last 2 years? They were good last year. I think if I remember correctly, they made it to the conference final last year. This year, they lost to they just lost in the last round to Wilkes-Barre Scranton. That was a tough series too. So Hershey, just like the old school Capitals and the Pittsburgh Penguins used to do, it seems like Wilkes-Barre Scranton and Hershey meet up every year in the American Hockey League playoffs. Lately, Hershey has had the better of them. This year, the Baby Penguins got the better of the Baby Caps. So that's where their road ended this year. But they did win a playoff series. They did. They won their first series, but then they lost their second series. All right, so there we have it. So let's do this here. Let's take one more break, and then when we come back, we will dive into all that is the NHL, including a Game 7 that happens tonight between Montreal and Buffalo. We'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here. So tonight it happens, Game 7, 7:30 p.m. on ESPN between Montreal and Buffalo. This series has been crazy. The road team has won the last 3 games. Buffalo won 3-2, and then that game was even crazy in the sense that we had goals going left and right early on and kind of settled down towards the end. Then Montreal and Buffalo, another game, but Montreal won Game 5, 6-3 in Buffalo, and that game had goals going crazy early on and then kept going for Montreal. And then the last one, it went the other way. Goals were early for Montreal. They scored on 3 of the first 4 shots on Alex Lyon, who had gone in to start this game because he came into relief from the last game when Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen got rocked. But this time, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen did really, really well, making 18 saves and leading them. And then Buffalo just scored on, it seemed like, every opportunity that they had on Dobash, which was kind of a surprise to see. So Buffalo wins that game 8-3, forcing a Game 7 in Buffalo. I know this for sure. The crowd in Buffalo is going to be crazy tonight. It's going to be insane in there. I have no clue who the hell wins this game. I guess Montreal's not lost 2 games in a row yet this playoffs, which is kind of crazy to me. So I think I'll go Montreal, but I'm not. That's like a 51% confidence in that one. What do you think, Sarah? Who wins tonight?
See, I'm just more so looking at it in the benefit of the Canes. Now, the Canes played Buffalo in 2006. So, like,
Yes.
hoping we can play them again, as like a little repetition thing. Um, but to be honest, I couldn't really tell you because just again the series has gone back and forth so many times. I mean, with how Buffalo was last game, 8-3, I have a feeling Buffalo is going to be able to take it in Game 7. But we'll see. I'm excited to watch tonight. I think
Yeah,
Buffalo's got it.
it's gonna be fun for sure. That much we do know. Where it goes, I agree with you. I have no idea. So real quick too, then we'll break down the matchup coming up here in the Western Conference. But the Western Conference got set by Colorado taking out Minnesota. That series was 4-1 from when we last had our show. Colorado won game 2, 4-2. Minnesota came back, won game 3, 5-1. Then Colorado wins game 4 in convincing fashion, 5-2. Game 5 was in Minnesota. Minnesota's up 3-0. And Jared and I are watching that. We're like, this lead's not safe. Minnesota has to keep adding on. And slowly but surely, Colorado keeps chipping away. They get a goal late. And then the overtime, it didn't last long. It was 2 minutes. And you could tell both teams, it was not your typical playoff overtime where both teams are kind of holding back. That was like a regular season overtime. It was just chance after chance, and you knew it wasn't going to last long. And Colorado buries one on a great pass from Martin Necas. So they get by Minnesota. A bit of surprise, I think, that it took them 5 games, but this is Colorado. This team is the juggernaut that they're showing to be, and they take out a really good Minnesota team. Now, granted, Minnesota was out a couple of their better players in Erickson, Elk, and Bowden, but I don't know that would have mattered anyway. Any thoughts on that series, Sarah, as far as Colorado taking out Minnesota?
I'm not really shocked. Obviously, one of the guys showing in the group chat, Paul, about the Minnesota fans. I think you just expect getting kicked out in the playoffs at this point. I was excited that they did that they made obviously past the first round against Dallas. That was already, I feel like, a very successful attempt at that, because I mean, again, we talked about that several times of how that roundup itself could be a Western Conference final in there. So it'll definitely be interesting to see how Minnesota handles the offseason. I do think they have a bunch of good pieces. Their goaltending, I think we have to give them kudos to that. Like, Wallstead absolutely devastated when he gave up that goal. I mean, it's hard when like a goalie comes out of that, like obviously shows up and then you try very hard and shit doesn't have, it doesn't go your way.
He had no chance on that last shot, though. It was just a hell of a pass, and
I know
he took the shot.
Especially against a team like Colorado. I mean, there's just not really much to say against it. I don't think anybody's gonna like diss Minnesota because they lost. I mean, Colorado and Dallas are both difficult teams, so I mean, I think they'll come back stronger. Come back stronger for sure for the next season.
Yep, I agree. I don't think we're done seeing Minnesota at all. So Colorado will play Vegas, who took out Anaheim 4-2. When we last left off, the series was tied at 2. Vegas wins Game 5 in overtime, similar to what they did against Utah, to take a 3-2 lead. And then Game 6, they just kind of dominated Anaheim. I mean, this series really didn't give me much buzz at all, other than it's good to see Mitch Marner for Vegas have a really good playoff season, because he never really did in Toronto. And
I don't know if I'm still here, but I think we lost him. I think he's gone. Okay. While he fixes that, because again, I think I'm still here. Oh boy. I wasn't prepared for this, guys. Oh my gosh. Okay. Um. So the Western Conference Final with Colorado and Vegas. Me personally, I think it's going to be Colorado. Oh, yep, there you maybe possibly.
There you
Oh,
go.
but there's another one. There's two. Okay, there we
Double
go.
me. Did you?
Double you.
Am I here back? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
Apparently, when you get a telemarketer call, it boots you out of here. So, a little word to the wise there. All right. So anyway, so Anaheim is out. Vegas is in. Do you give Vegas any chance at all to win this series against Colorado, Sarah?
Negative. I was trying to take it away while you left because I was like, I was wondering if my Wi-Fi went out for a second. I was like, wait,
No.
can they hear me? I was just, improv. But I don't think Vegas is going to be able to do it. I mean, obviously, I said back then, it's just like, I don't think, I just don't think Vegas would be able to do it. I mean, yes, they won in a decent amount of games with Anaheim, but I didn't feel confident about them as a playoff team overall in the finals or just in the playoffs in general, and obviously in the regular season. They've had a very interesting standings, I would say. But Colorado, I mean, President's Trophy, I get it. The curse happens, but I think if that really was a thing, it would have happened by now. But we'll
Yeah,
see.
the curse doesn't happen against Vegas, that's for sure. I mean, Vegas has got some players to watch out for. Mitch Marner has 18 points, 7 goals. Pavel Doriev and Brett Howden both have 9 points and 8 goals for Vegas. For Colorado, they're led by McKinnon with 7 goals, 13 points. Marty Necas has 11 points. The battle's going to be interesting in goal. Both have been steady. Connor Hart's got a 237 and a 917. Scott Wedgwood about the same, a 221 and a 914. This could come down to maybe power play. Vegas is running at a 25% clip. Their penalty kills at 86.8. Colorado's at 25% also on the power play, but only 79% on the PK. So maybe if Colorado gets undisciplined, that's how Vegas can maybe stay in this series. But I'm taking the gentleman's sweep here. I think Colorado wins this in 5.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I could see it going in 6, but I mean, gosh, the record difference, I'm pretty sure it's like, I think Colorado's only lost 1 game, and that was was it 2?
No, just 1. Yeah, they swept
Just 1.
against the Kings. Yep.
And then obviously with freaking Vegas losing 4, like it's such a different. Colorado's just way better. It's not. If Vegas wins it, I don't want to I mean, I feel better about the Canes winning the Stanley Cup in that sense. Obviously, we have to make it past the Eastern Conference Finals. But yeah,
Midnight asked me that question yesterday of what team would Carolina prefer, and I'm like, well, obviously it's going to be Vegas because no one wants to go play Colorado right now. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that leads us to the Eastern Conference Final, which we know Carolina's going to be in. Oh, I was going to give this to. So for the West, game 1 of that series is going to be Wednesday night. These are all they all go every other day. So Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, Tuesday will be games 1, 2, 3, 4. Games 1 and 2 in Colorado. Games 3 and 4 in Vegas. So for the Eastern Conference Final, we have Carolina against Buffalo or Montreal. We'll find out tonight. The key for this, I think, is going to be for Carolina. 12 days off, right? They've had a lot of days off. Now, they did have a big rest between Series 1 and Series 2. What's kind of crazy is if Montreal wins tonight, Carolina will go into this series playing the least amount of games that you possibly can with 8. Montreal will have gone through 2 Game 7s and played 14 games, the most that you can play. I think that matters. I think over the course of a series, that's going to help Carolina. Buffalo, either way, they went 6 games. Now they're going 7. So they're playing 13 games where Carolina's played 8. So maybe a short-term advantage for whoever wins tonight against Carolina. But long-term, this is going to help Carolina as far as what the rest goes. But the key for this is going to be, can Stankoven, Hall, and Blake keep doing what they're doing? Hall has 12 points. Blake has 11. Stankoven only has 8, but he has 7 goals. And then, of course, you have what Freddie Anderson has just done in goal, which is Conn Smythe type numbers, which is the MVP for the playoffs. A 112 goals against average and a 950 save percentage. You know, depending on for Buffalo, if they get in, you're looking at Tage Thompson. Rami Dahlin is their leader. Sorry about the name mix up there. Tage has got 15 points. Dahlin's got 13 points. For Montreal, Lane Hudson has 13 points. Nick Suzuki has 12. And they got a lot of other guys that are doing really well too. So I don't know. Like, people have asked me who I want. I really don't care. I think both teams right now look tired. Both teams have defensive issues and both teams have goaltending issues. So, you know, I just think it's going to be a question of does the rest. And, you know, I think the key for Carolina is they have to win game one because we all know the struggles they've had in the Eastern Conference Finals. They've been swept twice in this round over the last 7 years under Rod, and they've lost last year to Florida in 5. And in that series, they're even down 3-0 before they finally won a game. So I think the key for Carolina is they got to come out of Carolina at least with a split. They can't go into Buffalo or Montreal down 2-0. The questions will start coming right back up. You know, I think they can lose game one and still win game two because of the break. Carolina wins game 1 and 2. I like where they're heading. I'm stalling for a couple seconds because I could hear someone asking Sarah a question in the background. So, Sarah, what are your thoughts on this series? Do we like our Hurricanes to come through on top, or do you have any concerns?
I feel like I'm a little bit more scared to play Montreal away just because, like, at least in the past 5 years, Montreal has had a little bit more playoff experience. Has it only been more so wild card bearing? Yes. Obviously,
and we did not do well against Montreal in the regular season either.
We did not do well against them. We did slightly better against Buffalo. I think we still were able to win out that series, if I remember correctly. But just... And even with the series against Montreal, it was like very high scoring, which could be very entertaining. But I think that just kind of goes into what you say about their goaltending. It's like just neither of those teams kind of have strong goaltending overall. So, and Freddie has been playing like usual playoff ready, so everything should work out in that end on our end. But I would more so prefer to play a Buffalo team just because I think they're a little bit more inexperienced of the playoffs. So I think it might kind of throw them back a little bit. And at least the Canes have experience playing in the Eastern Conference Finals. Is it good? No. The only thing is, if we lose the Eastern Conference Finals, is it over? Like, what is going on at that point?
Yeah, I think this one, especially with it not being against Florida, will be a little bit harder for those taken. For anyone who's wondering what my little directions are.
Can't fight the allegations any longer.
Yeah. Jared and Elise just walked in, so I was pointing to them that Teddy's upstairs sleeping. So that's for anyone wondering, I was not doing some type of new dance move or anything like that. Son just walked back in from their like portion. Yeah, there's no dance moves being done by me at all. So there you have it. So yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I think but ultimately, I think from what I've seen in Montreal these last 3 games, I feel a little bit better because I think their defense seems tired right now. So I think we've got a shot against either one of those teams. But hey, that's why we play the games, and that's what we'll find out here as we move forward. But I do know this. Hopefully, it's weird. Like these playoffs, we've had a lot of overtimes. This is only going to be our second game 7. We've had 1 per round. So Montreal's been involved in both of them. Montreal won the last one. Do they win this one tonight? We'll find out tonight, right?
We will.
All right, so that's it for this week, ladies and gentlemen. You can watch us again, of course, live on YouTube, Facebook, and listen to us the next day on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Pocket Cast, Podbean, and Castbox, all those fun little places. But now it's time for a few more show plugs, Sarah. So get ready because the pretenders and contenders are going to be on tonight. Coach already checked in with us here. And I do want to plug this show that Coach and I are doing. I am super excited about this. But first, tonight he's got Coach Drip to talk Montgomery County football. So that's the show tonight, Pretenders and Contenders. That's going to be at 7:00 tonight, right? But we have a great show coming up July 20th. This is going to be a joint show. We're going to have 4 coaches, 4 officials that are going to be on, and we're going to be talking about different ways to build rapport between both coaches and officials, along with the effect that obnoxious parents are having on coaches and officiating, and then different ways that we can get people back involved in officiating because there is official shortages all over the place. So that's what we're going to be talking about on July 20th. It's going to be an amazing show. But tonight he's got Coach Drip on. And then, of course, on Tuesday night, you got Unapologetic Sports. They're doing a really cool show where for the fans, they want to know your reaction to their schedules, to your team's favorite schedule. So check that out Tuesday night at 6:30. And then the Tuesday night flight at 8 o'clock. They're going to get you caught up, of course, on everything going on in the NBA and other stuff. And then Nothing But Net on Wednesday. That is your other big source for the NBA playoffs. So, and then Thursday Night Throwdown. Let's just throw that out there too. And then the WrestleManiacs on Saturday. And then the Sunday Rise on Sunday morning. There you have it. That is every show that I can plug. I don't know if Midnight Rider's doing the Gridiron right now, and I think they're in between seasons, so I'm not going to plug that one just yet. But there you have it, folks. The plugs are all in, but we have a lot of great networks, a lot of great shows on the network coming up here. Our next show is going to be next Tuesday. We're going to take Memorial Day Monday off. So that means a triple header of shows coming up for you on Tuesday. We'll have the triple header of Drive Time, Unapologetic Sports, and Tuesday Night Flight. So a triple header action coming up for you next Tuesday here. So with that being said, Sarah, any last second thoughts that you have to share with the world? No? Well, I'm glad you had a good time with the kids. You know, there's nothing better for as a parent to see adult siblings going off on their own, not being forced by a parent to go off on their own and have a good time. So I'm glad
it was kind of funny though. Grace said, "Are we going to be the family that like meets up with each other except one sibling?" Which we all know which one sibling that is, but seems like that's the vibe it's going for right now.
Yeah, because it seems like it's been a while. Well, we'll get everyone together in July at least. So, but it seems like, yeah, we have had, it seems like we're always missing one at a gathering. Some version is not with us. So, but we'll fix that in July anyway. So that'll be fun. That'll be a good time. So, all right, enough of that. Enough about the family talk there. So anyway, enjoy the Game 7 tonight. Enjoy if you're watching the NBA playoffs. Enjoy that tonight.
PWHL.
That's right. PWHL tonight too. So just remember, of course, to tell your loved ones that you love them and hug them because tomorrow's not guaranteed. But hopefully we'll see you next week on Drive Time. Until then, everyone, take care. See y'all. Have a good one.